Welcome to Maple Street. This is the most beautiful street in the town. Look at the houses. They're painted in pink, blue, and yellow. The lawns are perfectly cut. The flowers are always blooming. Everyone here is friendly. Everyone here smiles. Well, almost everyone. There was one house that did not belong here. The house at the end of the street, number 13. It was painted black. The windows were always closed. The fence was tall and sharp, like the teeth of a monster. We didn't call it a home. We called it the Castle of the Beast. And inside that castle lived a man named Mr. Silas. But we, the children, had another name for him. We called him the Ugly Neighbor. I remember the first time I saw his face. I was 6 years old. My ball rolled near his gate. I ran to get it. Suddenly, the gate creaked open. Creak. A figure stepped out from the shadows. He was tall and bent, like an old tree in a storm. He wore a long, dirty gray coat, even in summer. But his face, oh, his face gave me nightmares for weeks. A deep red scar ran across his cheek, pulling his mouth into a permanent twist. One of his eyes was white, like a ghost's eye. He looked at me. He didn't smile. He growled. "Get away," he shouted. His voice sounded like rocks crushing together. "Stay away from my house. Never come back." I screamed. I left my ball and ran home crying. Since that day, Mr. Silas became the villain of our childhood. Fear creates stories. And on Maple Street, we had many stories about the ugly neighbor. The adults whispered when they walked past his house. Mrs. Green said, "I heard he was a criminal. He was in prison for 10 years. Mr. Baker said, "No, look at his scars. He was definitely a gangster who fought with knives." My mother just told me, "Lily, stay away from him. He is a dangerous man. He hates people, and he hates children even more." We believed them. Of course we believed them. We watched him from a distance. Every day he would come out to pick up his newspaper. He walked with a limp. Thump. Drag. Thump. Drag. He never waved hello. He never bought Girl Scout cookies. If a cat walked into his garden, he would chase it away with a broom. If a ball flew over his fence, it was gone forever. The black hole, we said. Whatever goes into his yard never comes back. Years passed. I turned 10. One windy afternoon, I was flying my favorite kite. It was shaped like a butterfly, painted with rainbow colors. My dad made it for me. Suddenly, a strong wind snapped the string. "No!" I shouted. I watched helplessly as my beautiful butterfly danced in the air and landed right on the roof of number 13. It got stuck on the dark, smoky chimney. My friends pulled my arm. "Let it go, Lily," they said. "It's gone. You don't want the beast to catch you." I looked at the scary black house. I looked at my kite. I was terrified, but I loved that kite. I waited until sunset. When the street was empty, I crept towards the fence. My heart was beating like a drum. Boom, boom, boom. I climbed up the fence. I just wanted to peek inside. Maybe I could use a stick to get it. Suddenly, a shadow fell over me. I looked down. Mr. Silas was standing right there. Up close, his scar looked even redder. He was holding a shovel. His white eye seemed to look right through my soul. "What are you doing?" he roared. I froze. I was so scared I couldn't breathe. I stammered. "Get down! Get out!" He swung the shovel in the air. "Don't let me catch you here again, evil children! Go!" I jumped down and ran. I ran faster than I ever ran in my life. I didn't look back. I hated him. I hated him so much. He is a monster, I told myself that night. A heartless, ugly monster. That winter was colder than usual. One stormy night while we were watching TV, we saw flashing lights outside. Red and blue lights reflected on the snow. It was an ambulance.
It stopped in front of number 13. The paramedics rushed in. A few minutes later, they came out slowly. They were not rushing anymore. They carried a stretcher covered with a white sheet. Mr. Silas was gone. The ugly neighbor had died alone in the dark. The next morning, the news spread fast. "Heart attack," the neighbor said. "Well," Mrs. Green sighed, "it's peaceful now. No more scary eyes watching us." Everyone seemed relieved, but for some reason, looking at that empty black house, I didn't feel happy. I felt strange. 2 days later, a cleaning crew arrived. They left the gate open. Curiosity is a powerful thing. "Let's go look," my friend Tom whispered. "I bet he has skeletons in his garden." We sneaked past the gate. We prepared ourselves to see a wasteland full of thorns and traps. But when we stepped into the backyard, we gasped. It was not a wasteland. It was paradise. Behind the tall black fence, Mr. Silas had hidden a secret world. There were flowers everywhere, roses, tulips, sunflowers, blooming even in the cold winter air inside a glass greenhouse. There were bird feeders hanging from every tree. Squirrels were running around freely. It was the most beautiful garden I had ever seen. Why did he hide this beauty? Why did he build a fence to block the view? Then Tom shouted, "Hey, look at this!" He was standing in front of a small wooden shed. The door was open. We walked in, and my heart stopped. Inside the shed, on neat wooden shelves, were our lost treasures. Hundreds of tennis balls, soccer balls, dolls, model cars. They were not thrown in a pile. They were cleaned. They were fixed. The dolls had new dresses sewn from old cloth. The deflated balls were pumped up. And there, in the center of the table, was my butterfly kite. The tear in the wing was stitched up with golden thread. It looked even more beautiful than before. Next to the kite, there was a letter. The handwriting was shaky. It said, "For the girl with the butterfly kite." With trembling hands, I opened the letter. I read it aloud, and my friends gathered around, listening in silence. "Dear child, if you are reading this, I am probably gone. I am sorry I scared you. I am sorry I yelled at you. You see, many years ago, I was a firefighter. I loved people. I loved saving lives. But one fire took everything from me. I saved a baby from a burning building, but the roof collapsed on my face. Since then, when people look at me, they scream. Children cry when they see my monster face. I didn't want to scare you, so I built the fence to hide myself. I yelled at you to make you run away, so you wouldn't have to look at my ugliness. I kept your toys because they were the only connection I had with the world outside. I fixed them, hoping that maybe one day I would be brave enough to give them back. But I was a coward. Please take your kite back and tell the other children to take their balls. The garden is for you now. Please take care of the birds for me. Signed, Silas, the ugly neighbor." We tore down the black fence. Mr. Silas's garden became the neighborhood park. We called it the Silas Garden. The flowers he planted are still blooming today. I am a grown woman now. I have children of my own. Whenever my son points at someone who looks different or scary, I kneel down and tell him the story of the ugly neighbor. I tell him that beauty is not what you see with your eyes. Beauty is what you do when no one is watching. Mr. Silas was the ugliest man on Maple Street, but he had the most beautiful heart of us all.